Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there was a young princess named Isabella. She was the only daughter of the king and queen, and she was known throughout the kingdom for her beauty, intelligence, and kind heart. Isabella was loved by all who knew her, and many princes from neighboring kingdoms had come to court her in the hopes of winning her hand in marriage. Isabella, however, was not interested in any of the suitors who came to court her. She longed for adventure and excitement, and she dreamed of exploring the world beyond the walls of her kingdom. She spent her days reading books and maps, dreaming of all the places she would visit and the people she would meet. One day, while wandering through the woods near the castle, Isabella stumbled upon a handsome young man. He was tall and strong, with piercing blue eyes and a charming smile. His name was William, and he was a knight who had come to the kingdom to offer his services to the king. Isabella was immediately smitten with William, and they spent the afternoon talking and laughing together. Over the following weeks, Isabella and William spent every spare moment together. They explored the kingdom together, riding horses through the countryside and hiking through the mountains. She knew that she was falling in love with him. However, when Isabella's parents found out about her relationship with William, they were furious. They believed that a princess should marry a prince, not a common knight, and they forbade Isabella from seeing William again. Isabella was heartbroken, but she knew that she could not disobey her parents. Over the following months, Isabella watched as prince after prince came to court her, but none of them captured her heart like William had. She longed to see him again, but she knew that it was impossible. She spent her days locked away in her room, dreaming of the adventures she and William had shared. They spent the day together, exploring the countryside and talking about their dreams for the future. Isabella knew that her parents would be angry if they found out that she had disobeyed them, but she could not resist the pull of her love for William. As the sun began to set, Isabella and William returned to the castle, but they were caught by the king and queen. Isabella was banished from the kingdom, and William was thrown into the dungeons. Isabella was heartbroken to be separated from William once again, but she refused to give up. She knew that she had to find a way to rescue him, no matter what the cost. She began to plot and plan, determined to free William from his prison. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, but Isabella never gave up on her quest to rescue William. She spent her days studying maps and scheming, and she made connections with people from neighboring kingdoms who might be able to help her. Finally, after months of planning, Isabella and a small group of loyal supporters made their way to the castle dungeons. They overpowered the guards and freed William from his cell, and together they fled the kingdom, determined to start a new life together. They traveled for months, exploring new lands and meeting new people. Isabella and William were finally free to be together, and they were happier than they had ever been before. They traveled to distant lands, seeing things that they had only dreamed of, and they fell more deeply in love with each passing day. As they traveled, Isabella and William began to hear rumors of a great evil that was threatening the kingdoms of the world. The evil sorcerer had risen to power, and he was laying waste to all in his path. The people of the kingdoms were in despair, and they had no hope of defeating the sorcerer's dark magic. Isabella and William knew that they had to do something to stop the sorcerer. They decided to travel to the heart of the sorcerer's kingdom, where he had set up his castle. They knew that it would be dangerous, but they also knew that they had to try to stop the sorcerer from destroying everything that they held dear. As they approached the sorcerer's castle, they were met by an army of dark creatures. Isabella and William drew their swords and fought bravely, but they were outnumbered and outmatched. It seemed as if all was lost, and that the sorcerer would be victorious. But then, something miraculous happened. Isabella's pure heart and righteous spirit summoned a power greater than any magic. The magic of the ancient kingdoms of the world, the good and the pure, answered her call. The skies darkened, and a fierce storm began to brew. A powerful wind started to blow, and lightning struck the ground around them. The power of good and the power of evil collided, and a great battle began. Isabella and William fought with all their might, and their love for one another gave them strength. They managed to defeat the sorcerer's minions, but the sorcerer himself was still too powerful for them to defeat alone. That's when Isabella remembered something that her father, the king, had told her long ago. Her father had told her of a magical sword that was hidden in the heart of the sorcerer's castle. The sword was said to be able to destroy any evil, no matter how powerful it was. Isabella and William knew that they had to find the sword, but the castle was heavily guarded, and it would be no easy task. They snuck into the castle, avoiding the guards, and eventually, they found the sword. It was hidden in a secret chamber deep within the castle walls, and it was guarded by a fierce dragon. But Isabella and William were determined to get the sword, and they fought the dragon with all their might. In the end, they emerged victorious, with the magical sword in their hands. They rushed back to the battlefield, where the sorcerer was waiting for them. He was a fearsome sight, but Isabella and William stood strong. They knew that with the power of the sword, they could defeat the sorcerer and restore peace to the kingdoms. They fought fiercely, their swords clanging together in the storm. The sorcerer's dark magic was no match for the power of the magical sword, and with a final blow, the sorcerer fell to the ground, defeated. The storm cleared, and the sun began to shine once more. The people of the kingdoms rejoiced, and they held a great celebration in honor of Isabella and William. They were hailed as heroes, and their love story became the stuff of legend. Isabella and William ruled the kingdoms together, and they brought peace and prosperity to all the people they had saved. So, Isabella and William lived happily ever after.